Now, it's time for Stuck in the Middle radio show with Alan Edwards.
Actually, you sound like the maniac.
Okay. Dancing beat. Hi, everyone. I'm your best friend. Back in town again.
Okay. All right, we're going to do it. Took a little break there for the radio listeners, and we're coming on board with the online listeners and viewers. Thanks for joining me today on a Saturday night, and if you're listening to this or watching this at any other time, it's a pre-recorded show. We have a lot to talk about, so much going on in this wacky, wide country, and like I said, and I've said in the previous episodes of this show, every day's a new day with the Donald Trump world. Thanks a lot, Trump, but it gives us a lot to talk about because things are going on so crazy right now, and some of the things we're going to be talking about is just out of this, just you wouldn't believe, you wouldn't even consider what could possibly be happening, and it does. So I want to start out with this story that has been hitting some of the mainstream news. That's some of the mainstream news, but not all of it. And it's regarding Alligator Alcatraz, and it's regarding the hunger strike protest that's happening there because of the horrid, horrific way they're being treated there. A hunger strike at the South Florida Immigration Detention Center. State officials have named Alligator Alcatraz has entered its 10th day as detainees protest what they call inhumane and dangerous living conditions. Now, I want you to watch this, and we're going to discuss how MAGA just loves this kind of stuff and how these right-wing Christians just love to see people being tortured if they're not white. So listen to this and watch this if you're online.
That's the voice of Pedro Hernandez. He's on the phone with his wife, calling from so-called Alligator Alcatraz. He said he was talking to anybody that was listening. Whoever can help us with what's going on here, we've all been hungry since Tuesday, Pedro says. He arrived from Cuba in the United States in 2006. He was arrested 4 years later and got a deportation order. In July, during a routine visit to ICE in Miramar, the feds scooped him up. It was the last time his wife saw him. My husband was in prison. We make mistakes, but we learn from them and fix things, Damaris Hernandez says. Thursday, she shared Pedro's plea for help from what he describes as deplorable conditions. It's also day 9 with no food. He's on a hunger strike with other detainees. I'm not going to eat another plate of food until they show us respect, Pedro said. Meanwhile,
Florida has struck an unholy bargain with the Trump administration.
Democrats in Coconut Grove held an emergency town hall denouncing the conditions at the detention center.
And so when people are forced into these tent cities with substandard conditions, we're going to see people irreparably harmed, not only for due process, but people are not getting their medication, they're not getting food, they're not getting hygiene, they're not being able to use the showers.
And some breaking news.
So you're not hearing much about this other than we caught this, I believe, on Friday, and it's just, hang on one second. It's outrageous what they're doing and how they're treating these people. Some of the stories that are going out are, some of the food includes maggots inside the food, warm water. They're not given showers. They're being treated like animals. It's disgusting the way these people are being treated. Now, I'd like you to close your eyes for a second and just imagine being a Christian inside the United States, being a MAGA Christian. What would you think a MAGA or just a Christian in general in the United States should be? Taking care of the poor, looking after ourselves, helping the needy, giving people due process if something happens to them. What is going on in this country is pretty much the exact opposite. The MAGA Christians, they cheer at stuff like this. They love the fact that hardworking people that have been working in the fields for 20 years, hardworking people that have been working in hotel industry and hospitality industry that's been working there 25, 30 years are being dragged out like animals, thrown in vans, some of them put on airplanes and then put into these horrible situations with these prisons that treat them literally like animals. Actually worse than animals, because some of these animal humane societies, they treat these dogs and cats and animals much better than how these people are being treated. Now, MAGA looks at these people as they're all guilty. All of them are guilty. No due process. Put them in prison and treat them like the animals that they are. These are the MAGA Christians. All of them do not deserve due process. If Donald Trump and ICE and the Trump administration believe that these people are animals, that means they are animals. So treat them like that. That's the MAGA philosophy. If you go online and look at X and look at Truth Social, these people are cheering. They're happy. Some of the comments they make, they love the fact that these people are being treated the way they are. They love the fact that they don't get due process. Throw them in prison and let them rot, a lot of them are saying. These are Christians. This is the new Trump Bible. This is the new nationalist Bible in the United States. Is this what Jesus wanted? Is this what their God wants? Pointing the finger at people saying, you are brown, you look guilty, you get no due process. They believe that everybody that ICE takes into custody are guilty no matter what. And that's not the case. There's a lot of innocent people. A lot of innocent people that have been shipped out of the country. They have been shipped to countries that they don't even know anybody there. They're not even from that country. And dropped off and said, good luck, love ya. My God, these people are absolutely out of control. And Trump's giving them a free pass. And ladies and gentlemen, it's only going to get worse, because the Trump administration, with this big bloated bill, now has pretty much unlimited money to allow them to do even more, to be more aggressive, to be more disgusting. It's just unbelievable, the stuff that's going on. And we sit there and watch this, and it's like, what do we do about it? What can we do about it? It's unbelievable. I just keep saying unbelievable because it really is. I don't even know another word other than disgusting, horrific. And this is what's happening in today's America. There has been numerous amounts of people, and still are, that have had no due process whatsoever and are in these prisons. So that story from NBC, I believe, was on Thursday. So right now, these prisoners are on, I think, their 12th or 13th day of a hunger strike. So we're going to see how long that takes. We're going to keep in touch with it. Most Americans don't even know what's going on. Like I said, right-wing, MAGA, they don't care. They love it. And I saw a couple of comments on Truth Social, and it said, let them rot. Don't feed them if they're not going to eat. Holy crapalola. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep in tune with what's going on, because it's out of control. So let's move on to the next Donnie topic, because there's a lot of them this week. And we're going to go down our list of things that we posted this week. And the one that's going on today is Trump's so-called Office of Special Counsel. They've launched an investigation into former Special Counsel Jack Smith, who led the criminal probes into President Donald Trump's handling of classified documents and alleged efforts to subvert the 2020 election. And I don't care what you say, this is what you call retribution, and this is what's happening. This is what is going on in this wacky wide world. He got into office. We warned about Project 2025, and a part of that, in so many words, is retribution. So this watchdog special counsel, CNN was reporting on it, And it said the Office of Special Counsel has launched an investigation into former Special Counsel Jack Smith, who led criminal probes into President Donald Trump's handling of classified documents and alleged efforts to subvert the 2020 election. The investigation into potential Hatch Act violations comes as Trump and his allies have sought retribution against his political enemies and those who have brought investigations against him. He has got a list. One by one, he's going over this list and he's checking it twice because this guy wants to get back at all the people that have done him wrong in his mind. So one by one, this guy is just going for him. He wants to lock people up. And the reason why he wants to do that is because his base, the rabid base that rage watch Fox News and Newsmax all day long, and then they want to see blood. This on top of Donald Trump staying up all night long, sucking down Big Macs with his big bloated thumbs, tapping on his True Social app saying, I'm going after him, I'm going after her, I want to lock her up. And you see all the comments, right on, dear leader. We love you. You are the greatest. You are the all-time, the greatest man on earth. You are, the second coming. The second coming. This man, the way he's going after people, disgusting. So, like I said with everything else, we'll keep an eye on this. We'll see what happens. This is already have made mainstream news all day today on Saturday. So we're going to keep an eye and see what this guy's going to do. What else is there? I was looking at some interviews over the past few days, and this has kind of struck my attention because Michael Cohen keeps saying the same thing. Michael Cohen has his own show, and he does a couple of things on some pretty large left-wing podcasts and streaming media, and he is anti-Trump. He has no problem saying how much he doesn't like Trump, how much he hates him, what Trump has done wrong, everything that Trump has done. He keeps up on top of all the wrongdoings of the bloated orange one. But one thing I notice that he's doing, for some reason, anti-Trump Michael Cohen continues to state he believes that Trump is not in the Epstein files and did not participate in Epstein parties. I've noticed interview after interview that I have seen, Cohen spews the same narrative. And it's kind of strange that he's doing that because he has no problem saying everything else about Donald Trump. But he says it over and over. He doesn't think that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files and he's never been to the parties. And I'm wondering, why is he saying that? And why is he always making it a point to make it clear that that is what Donald Trump is not doing and is not in the list? And the reason I bring that up is because I have seen more than probably 5 interviews, and he's saying it from the same script. And I'm wondering, Michael Cohen has been very close to Trump for decades, for years and years. Of course, he was his personal attorney, so he knows a lot about Donald Trump, and he's been with Trump on a lot of things. And I'm wondering, why is he saying this? This might just be my own personal opinion, but I'm wondering, how involved was Donald Trump and how closely involved was Michael Cohen with this during this whole process? Because it sounds like he wants no part of this this Epstein list to come out. I don't know. It sounds like that, but we'll see what happens. And once again, we'll keep an eye on it like everything else. That's just probably my own personal paranoia, or I just feel that after I heard it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, I'm thinking, why does he keep saying that? I guess it's my own conspiracy theory. Move on. Oh, get this. For those of you that don't know, Trump wants the Kennedy Center to be renamed. Last week, Republican Representative Bob Onder of Missouri introduced the Make Entertainment Great Again Act. Yeah, I could just see that. Republicans making entertainment great. What kind of entertainment would that be? On that note, there was like a country music awards, and I'm trying to think of her name. You guys probably saw this on YouTube. Carrie Underwood. She was doing a presentation, and she was with some other one, and they were doing a skit about Obamacare, and it was the biggest flop. It was so stupid. They did the skit. They're trying to be some kind of right-wing Saturday Night Live. It was a skit, and it was at the Country Music Awards or something like that. And I was kind of watching this thinking, what is this stupid thing? She asked him, have you been a part of her works? And she goes over to this computer, and all the radical right-wing country singers and everyone else, yeah, bash Obamacare. So she gets behind the computer, and she acts like she's typing, and she's saying, and he goes, what's going on? Well, you gotta wait because the Obamacare is a very slow website. A lot of people think it. I don't know what's funny about this, and I'm literally almost saying word for word how this went. It was so stupid. So, the Obamacare website it's really slow. Oh, is it? And as she's saying it, everybody supposedly is laughing, and they zoomed in on Taylor Swift, and she had this look like, what in the F? And she had such a look like, this is so stupid. And she looked like into the camera, like, get this camera off me, because I'm not a part of this, and I'm not laughing at this. But anyways, so she's typing on this computer, and then they have like this fake smoke come out of the computer. Oh, well, it looks like Obamacare broke my computer. It took so long, and everyone's just barreling laughing. Like, I don't understand what's funny about it. It was so stupid. It's obvious they don't have a creative bone in their bodies. All these alpha males that think they're just so incredible, so alpha and so amazing, but they don't have because creativity, that's not really alpha in the MAGA world. You can't be creative in the MAGA world and be alpha. So when you get alpha males trying to be creative, this is the kind of these are the kind of skits you get. Bashing Obamacare and making some fake smoke come out of a laptop and making everybody laugh. It was so ridiculous. I'm sitting there like, what in the hell is this? But that was their skit. But anyways, I digress. So they're trying to pass this bill, make entertainment great again. So if this is their idea, making entertainment great, get ready. So they're seeking to change the Kennedy Center's name to Donald J. Trump Center for Performing Arts. Oh my God. Somebody get me a brick. What in the hell is going on? The Donald J. Trump Center for Performing Arts. And I don't give a damn what you say. This is all coming from Donald Trump. He says, I want this. And then all of a sudden, some representative from Missouri introduces the bill. Just like when he said, I want my head on the side of the rock. Just like when he said, I want the Nobel Peace Prize, make it happen. And all these people are out there standing behind podiums. Donald Trump has stopped wars. Donald Trump is the second coming. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's not coming up with this. We are. These minions do what he says. So this changing the Kennedy Center to Donald J. Trump Center for Performing Arts is all this bloated, sweaty, swollen orange buffoon's idea. Anytime you see any of this kind of stuff come up, it's all him. Like I said, he's up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's chewing on Big Macs at night, laying in bed nude. Oh my! Oh, sorry. And he's thinking about things. It's all about his imaging. He's so mentally fragile. And he wants all this stuff. He wants everybody to honor him and worship him. And this is just another way. And they're doing something else for Melania, too. They're dedicating a building for her, too. I promise you, and I always say this on the show, and I always say, remember these promises. Remember when, like in Iraq, when they toppled down all those, all the statues and everything? Same thing in World War II with Hitler in Germany. When they had all those statues and paintings and buildings for Hitler, they toppled them all down. I don't care what Donald Trump names after himself, what paintings, what bricks, what sidewalks, buildings, and mountains. They're all going to be toppled down when we come to our senses and realize this mega cult is going to come crashing down at some point. I don't know when, I don't know how, but people are going to realize this is the most disgusting time period of United States that's going to go down in history as one of the hugest flops ever that we have done as a culture. And as with Germany, when the Nazis, when it all broke down and all the Nazis that supported Hitler, they all kind of went into hiding and said, "Oh, I'm not a Nazi. I never did anything under Hitler. I never worshipped him." The same thing is going to happen here. The same thing is going to happen in the United States. All these mega people are going to start throwing away their hats and say, "Oh no, we never were a part of this. Never, ever, ever." So I don't care what he does or how he puts his name on performing arts buildings and tries to make entertainment great again. It's going to come down, and the sooner the better. And that's another thing. He's building a big entertainment stadium on the White House. Oh my! I don't want to. I can't keep going on because of this, because it's ridiculous. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what else? I think that's about it. I think we talked about all this other stuff with yesterday's show. So these are the main things we talked about online: retribution, defending Don, the entertainment center with Donald J. Trump. All right, let's go over some phone calls that we get every day. And if you want to leave a message, or if you want to let me know what you think, all you got to do is go to stuckinthemiddle.net, and we have a little thing there where you can push a button and record a message. And I have to say this each and every time. I know it's boring, but you got to keep it clean. No insults. Don't threaten me. I'm tired of that. And like I said, I'll hear the first few seconds of it and we just throw it away. I have no problem, and you hear it all the time. MAGA, you can call whatever, you can call in, leave some productive, and even if it's semi-insulting, and we do play those, I let all sides, all voices in on the party. But if you're going to be just unproductive and sound like an idiot, and most of you from MAGA do, and I have to say it, because it's true. For the amount of calls that come in and the amount that we put on the air, there's tenfold. And we have to block IPs, and we got to do all this because you people have nothing better to do than sit at home and just thrash liberal media because you feel better. I don't understand. And I think it has to do, once again, with the rage watching of Fox News and Newsmax and all those others. You get so angry and so frustrated that you just go to liberal media and start doing stupid things like that. So don't waste your time, because we're not going to play it. All right? All right, what's going on? Let's see here. La-di-dee.
Hi, Alan. Can we come up with an event and call it MAGA Slapfest? It's an outdoor event where we tell MAGA morons that it's a Trump rally, and we show up and smack them upside the head. Thanks.
That's not a bad idea. But then they would do the opposite. They would tell me they're having a libtard event, and I'll go up and they'll smack me upside the head. So we'll get nowhere that way, but not bad.
Alan, you sassy maniac. When are you going to bring up some of the good things Trump has done for this country? It's not going to happen because you don't want to admit it.
Well, I'll tell you, I have yet to see anything good that Donald Trump has done. But there is one thing, and I may get slack on this, but I do think it's a good idea. He just did it this week, and I don't like to give him props, but I do agree with this one. The physical fitness program, he's going to start up again, and I do agree with that. Remember, for those of you that go back in the day when schools used to have, I don't know the official name, he said what it was, but it's the physical fitness program where you have to do and reach certain things. All I remember is like in elementary school, and I believe I did it in junior high, and then I think it stopped then in the 70s. I believe it stopped late. I don't know when it stopped, but I just know when I was going to school, I graduated in 82, and I don't remember doing it in high school, but I think I remember doing it in junior high and elementary school. They had like a bunch of things that you can do. They set it all up out into the yard, and you did some running, and you had some goals to meet. I think it was a good idea because now kids got to get off the screens. Kids got to get out of the house, and kids got to get more physically fit. The obesity in this country is out of control. The junk food is out of control. So I do agree with this program. How they're going to implement it and what they're going to do, I can just imagine. But if they keep it the same of what it was before, I'll give them props on that. Everything else, give me some suggestions on what you think I should be praising your great orange leader on, because I have yet to find anything. Because he does a lot of press conferences. He does a lot of announcements and signing bills and doing all this other stuff. And if you go back on the majority of them, nothing has been implemented. Everything has been half-assed done. Even these tariffs, if you go back and look online on are these things being implemented yet, he loves doing the press conferences, the press releases, and the announcements, and standing behind the podium and saying, this is what I got. We've got billions of dollars. We're taking all of this stuff. Nothing has been implemented yet. And even the stuff that he's supposedly getting billions of dollars and all this other stuff, it's all broken down by years. So if you break it down by each year, it's nothing. And even this big, beautiful Japan deal that he's done, Japan's basically saying, if you want to see the details, you shouldn't really be celebrating. Yeah, I agree with that. So even this big EU deal, until it's in ink and it actually gets done the way he's saying it is, which I have a hard time believing it is, keep celebrating for nothing.
The whining libtards just cannot handle the success of Trump and the MAGA movement. They are constantly crying in their little libtard tears. Get ready, more to come.
That's kind of an amazing accent you have there. And, being MAGA, if you're not from this country, you're an illegal. So it doesn't sound like you were born here. And I'm just speaking for MAGA. I'm going to represent MAGA right now. And for you to be insulting the libtards, as you call them, and you have that accent, I think you might be undercover, because if MAGA heard that accent, you may be ending up in Alligator Island, or whatever the hell they call that, Alligator Alcatraz, eating food with maggots in it, and you may be joining them on their hunger strike. So good luck with that one.
Love the show, Alan. Keep up the fight. We are going to win this thing. The Trump MAGA movement will crumble. We're seeing cracks. We're seeing failure. It's not going to last. History books will erase this mess.
Yeah, that's basically what I just said. I believe so. It's going to take a while. We're going to still be going through a lot of disaster before it does. But little, small cracks in that movement is happening. And I can tell you what those cracks are, and that's coming from the Epstein files, because that has really changed a lot of people's mind in MAGA world. Not enough to make any difference, because they changed the narrative. There was something I was going to share with you. I don't know if I still have it. I should have saved it. I thought I had it on here somewhere. Maybe it wasn't. But Newsmax is still, they're still going with the narrative that Maxwell is a victim. And now some of MAGA is saying that Maxwell is a hero. This is to the extent that they're going to now. A child molesting, supporting, child rapist, child trafficker, now in the eyes of MAGA, is she's a hero. That's what they're saying on X and Truth Social. They're trying to get this narrative going to where, to get Donald Trump, well, I don't say they're trying to change the narrative. Donald Trump is trying to change the narrative and spewing this garbage through his state TV, to where these people start believing what these state TV networks say. And now the narrative is, she's a victim. She's a victim. That's exactly how they said it on Newsmax. You know, she was hanging out with Epstein, but I think she's a victim. Yeah, she's a victim. I had it somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but you can see it online. That's what the narrative is. And now they're not only saying she's a victim, she's a hero. That, I would love the narrative on that, where they come from. This woman, she was the child trafficker in this whole thing. She has been convicted of all those counts. She should have stayed in the prison that she was in. Donald's thugs go talk to her, spend time with her, after the years that she's been in there, since these files and this debacle that happened with the Trump administration, and the whole Epstein story came up again. So they run over there to talk to her before she speaks in front of Congress. And you don't think deals were made now that she's moved over to Texas Club Fed? You don't think any deals have been made? What are the odds? It's blatantly happening before our eyes. And now she's in some federal penitentiary. She's in a resort, have no fences. It's a beautiful place. Most people would love to live there. Now, that's like step one. Who knows what step two is going to be, but it's going to get to the point where she is going to be pardoned. It's just blatant. They don't care anymore. But in order to build up to that pardon, they're making these slow hints that she's a victim, she's a hero. The PPP, Pedophile Protection Party, that's who they are.
Hey, Alan, can you elaborate on how you guys are expanding the radio station? Not sure what that means. Thank you.
Other than we're going to just be doing more shows, adding more programming to the 24-hour program, and some other things. There's going to be an announcement on that. I don't know fully what's happening, but just kind of tune into dailycast.news, and they'll have the information on that. So I wanted to show you something about the Wall Street Journal did a report this week, and it was about the economy after Trump fired the messenger regarding the jobs report. He hated the jobs report, so instead of dealing with it, which he should be, I'm going to fire the messenger. But Wall Street chief economist commentator says jobs report shows economy treading water. President Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after the July jobs report showed little growth. That's what he does. And that goes back to talking about his fragile little ego, that maniac.
President Trump said he has directed his team to fire the Commissioner of Labor Statistics just hours after the agency issued a weak July jobs report. The report showed lower job growth than forecast, adding 73,000 jobs in July. A slight uptick in the unemployment rate to 4.2%. Hiring numbers for May and June were also significantly revised down, showing that just 106,000 jobs were added in the past 3 months.
Statisticians revised down how much growth we had in prior months by around 250,000, which is a very large revision. Now, roughly half of that was due to public school teachers and probably doesn't tell us much about the underlying economy. But the other half was in private jobs. And what we see now, in light of these revisions and the latest data for July, is that job growth in the last few months is running at its weakest since 2020.
Just 2 days before the report's release, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell announced interest rates would remain steady.
The majority of the committee was of the view that inflation's a bit above target, maximum employment is at target.
There wasn't any impetus to cut rates to help the economy because, as far as they could see, the labor market was very strong. That was based on data through June. When they made that decision, they didn't have the July data, which came out on Friday. It's quite possible that if they'd known how weak July was and how much weaker May and June were than they realized, that they might have seen a stronger case for lowering interest rates. It does look like they have a much stronger case to cut interest rates in September. This tells you that the broader economy is sort of treading water. We know that it's been through a lot in the last 3 or 4 months. We've had an imposition of widespread tariffs, kind of stop-start policy. We've had big cuts to federal government employment and spending. We've had big crackdown on illegal immigration. And these are all like big tumultuous events for the economy to cope with. And perhaps in retrospect, it's not surprising that we've seen like this pothole emerge in the economy in the second quarter. And I think the question we want to know is this just a pothole, or does it tell us that we have a very rough road for quite a while ahead of us? There are a few troubling signs in there. For example, the job creation that we had was overwhelmingly thanks to sectors like education and social services. And these tend to grow almost no matter what. They don't really tell you whether the private sector is in a hiring mood. If you look at sectors like construction and manufacturing, those ones were very weak with declining employment. The stock market only just hit a record high a few days ago, and the stock market tends to be very forward-looking. So investors, at least, are taking some comfort that the worst of the uncertainty with respect to trade is behind us. And if that's indicative of how overall private employers are feeling, maybe things are going to be okay.
So basically what he said there is everything why the job reports are so bad and the economy and inflation could be getting worse is because of Trump. All the stuff that he's been doing so far in the past 6+ months, he listed one after another what is causing this problem. You know, Doge itself cutting all those jobs, and that trickles down to other things. And everything from what he's doing with ICE, the tariffs, all of this stuff, one by one, is causing all these problems. So it's no surprise that the job numbers are the way they are. But he doesn't want to admit, he never will admit when he's wrong. He never will admit that he had caused a problem. So what does he do? He fires the person that put the report together. This psychotic orange blimp will never take responsibility for his own actions. So, not my fault. It's the person that did the reports together's fault. Fire him! That's the way our leader works. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, just one more story we have here, and it's kind of ridiculous. And of course it comes from Fox News because they're so happy when they see things like this. Oklahoma requires America First certification test for teachers fleeing blue states like they're fleeing for their lives. These teachers are running for their lives out of blue states. But Oklahoma is requiring America First certification. Now, what the hell is this? Here we go. MAGA. Oklahoma will be the first state to require teachers from liberal-leaning states to take a test to show they align with Oklahoma's curriculum standards. I can just imagine what this is. The state superintendent, Ryan Walters, told Fox News Digital that next week he plans to release the new certification test for teachers moving into the state from blue states. Who the hell would want to move from a blue state to Oklahoma? Yeehaw! We offered the largest signing bonuses for teachers in the country. If you're in the top 10% of teachers in the country, we'll give you $50,000 in Oklahoma. So we've seen teachers coming from the blue states, red states, and all over to come to Oklahoma. They especially are fleeing the teachers' unions and grip that they've had on them in these blue states, Walters said. Walters added that the state is working with conservative think tanks, here we go, PragerU, on developing the test for teachers. The American First test will include basic questions about American history, civics, and common sense. I guarantee you, if I scroll through this, it's going to talk something about adding religion into these tests and into the curriculum. Let's look, because I didn't read the whole thing here. They're talking about teachers being the best in the country. Here we go. Bingo. We put the Bible back in the history standards, Walter said. I'll be ding-dang. Exactly. Because what is a part of Project 125? Exactly that. I don't know what page it is, what line it is, but it's putting the Bible back into history standards. That's fine. If you want the Bible back in school, go to a Christian school. Public schools, the separation of church and state, as it says in the Bible, should be exactly that. If you're going to push the Bible down the throats of public school students, that is illegal. But of course, in Trump's world, in Trump's universe, and because he has ownership of pretty much every department in the United States, including the Supreme Court, it's going to go there. There's going to be lawsuits, and we're going to see this turn around. And other states are following suit. So the reason why Oklahoma is giving $50,000 to teachers is because they want those blue state teachers to come out and go to red states. So this begins to bloom throughout the United States. The Christian nationalism is happening in this country. It's happening, and this is another part of Project 2025, and Oklahoma is launching it. So we'll see how that happens, the way it's going to happen. They're going to implement it, and it sounds like next week they're going to start giving the information about it, and we'll see from there where it goes and who also takes hold. But you got to start with one thing. If you're going to be Christian, if you're going to be right-wing, you got to stop protecting pedophiles. And right now, the MAGA party is exactly that, the pedophile protection party. So until you guys start dealing with Epstein, until you start dealing with the list and dealing with how Trump is involved, we don't want to hear how Christian you are, how conservative you are, how normal you are. Release the files, stop allowing Trump to hide them, and go forward from there. All right. I think that's it for now. I want to thank you for joining me today. We're going to do more of the live shows online coming very soon. So, we're going to be doing more of them daily. And it will be something exciting because I get to do this every day at the same rate that I get paid. Thank ya. Love ya. So keep a smile on that face, a warm feeling in your heart. I will talk to you later for the next headlines and discussions of what's going on in this wacky, wide world.